Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Brightness. How are we? A little bit light on the subject. Right, silly o'clock in the morning. Again, as usual. Such fun yesterday teaching the warrior teachers. Always an absolute joy to do it. And today we're back to the subject of the BBC. And I apologise for going on about this and on about it interminably. It's like some boring old uncle sat in the corner at Christmas. But this is important, and it still remains important. And it's worthwhile analysing what we're seeing unfolding. It's quite extraordinary to imagine that they've already done 3, I think, stories in total, where they've actually said the words biological man. And I think it's also really important that we recognise that this is not a change of heart, and that has been forced mostly by us, by women, by people who bothered. Right? That's what it is. And they've obviously gone round to whichever office or hellhole the LGBTQ plus hands, knees and bumps-a-daisy people of the Babaka inhabit. I understand it's called the Pride Network. The Pride Network, oh Lord, right? So I imagine all the Pride Network nut jobs were sat in there quietly doing their jobs, which from what we're seeing unfold, I imagine is simply interfering in everybody else's business. And then there's the knock on the door. Oh, do come in. And in walks a guy with a really big bag of shit. This is what I hope happened. And they all begin to duck for cover. But no! Too late. The shit has hit the fannies. In the face, on the back of the head, over the arms, clothes need laundering, the whole works. That's what I'm hoping, right? That's what I'm hoping, is that's what's happened. The other scenario is that they've gone into the room where the LGBTQ plus hands, knees and bumps-a-daisy people at the Babaka live and said to them, we're going to need to cut people some slack. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to say instead of, and here's what we're going to say instead of, and here's what we're going to say instead of. But don't worry, it isn't going to go any further than that. Which of those scenarios do you think it is? In reality, it doesn't matter which of those scenarios has occurred. What matters is that we are not foolish enough, and I don't imagine many of you are, to think that there has been a change of heart at the BBC. There hasn't. There hasn't been a change of heart at the BBC. What there's been is a dread, a fear, action driven by sheer horror. Now, if we're naive enough to believe that what we're seeing is a change of heart of the BBC, that will cost us, BBC will cost us dearly. Because we cannot, under any circumstances, be allowed to give these people any quarter. There is no golden bridge that you can cross. The BBC, I mean. There is no golden bridge that we're even going to allow you to get anywhere near. There's a naivety about us that if we do, we will not kill this thing utterly in this particular large institution in which we need to kill it. And the demise of that institution, in whatever way, or the alteration of that institution, in whatever way it happens, is going to be absolutely crucial as it takes place, hopefully in the public eye, in providing us with a ready-made arsenal for attacking universities, the NHS, the civil service, and everywhere else. The government is in panic about this, I believe. There's all sorts of rubbish coming out of Labour at the moment. Oh, it's going to be a leadership challenge. West Street is going. It's all this, all that, all t'other. It's all a bit much, isn't it? All suddenly come out of nowhere. Don't believe it. EDI and DEI is the delivery system for their utopian vision. That's what it is. That's what inclusivity is all about. That's what fairness is all about. That's what stripping farmers of money is all about. What going after the rich is all about. I mean, Zach from the Greens, that Wibbler, he's the perfect example of it in extremis. But if you don't think that exists in the Labour Party, again, there's some naivety there. And it's not the Labour Party of old. It certainly isn't that. It's not even close to it. So it strikes me that we're going to have to be very, very careful exactly what it is that we want from the BBC. And to that end, I've been giving that some thought, and I should continue to do so over the next couple of days, that maybe, just maybe, we ought to have a list of what we want to see, which means we've got to think about what would that list be like. Well, I start from a particular point, but I'd be interested to hear from you what you think that list would look like. My particular point is this, that all things EDI and DEI are anti-human and anti-science. They are both based on equity, which is profoundly anti-human in any real sense. So therefore, it has got no validity. It is not worthy of respect in a democratic society. EDI and DEI is designed to tear us to pieces, to put different groups at each other's throats, and to attack and extinguish, or attack and obfuscate, to hide, to obscure the importance of the Western canon. Now, the Western canon, if you will, is the bench on which we all sit when we're going to have discussions and debates. And what they want to do is remove the bench. If that's true, and if I'm right about that, then saying biological man instead of just saying man may be a move forward for us. But is it because they are attempting to fool you into thinking that what they are doing is not biased? I jokingly put up a tweet yesterday with a video saying the BBC is not biased. I'm not having it, because I wanted to say that I thought the BBC was institutionally captured, which is far more dangerous and a different thing to bias. As we can see, they can easily demonstrate their apparent non-biasness. That's not a word, obviously, but their ability to be impartial by just simply changing words to say by actually saying that men are men. But that's not parity, right? So trans and queer and all that nonsense and the decolonizing and whiteness and white tears and all the rubbish that comes with it is not something that is impartial if spoken about in a certain way next to reality in the Western canon. All of that stuff that comes from EDI and DEI, critical race theory, transgenderism, queer this, queer that, all the lunatic environmental stuff, the lies about various bits of history, all of that is not given parity by arguing with it because it's nonsense, right? Parity with that is to dismiss it completely and go back to reporting based on the Western canon and what we as a country rely on to maintain our stability. This is what concerns me, is that we will be happy enough to accept they've said biological men. No. It should be reporting against the entire edifice of EDI-DEI, which is what's embedded at the heart of the BBC in every single bloody department, as it is in universities, as it is in the NHS, the civil service, and large companies. In other words, what they should report is the attack on the Western canon by EDI. That's the parity. Or I'm nuts. And you, as usual, I'm sure will tell me. Some food for thought. Just please do give it some thought. You want parity with this? They must argue that EDI, DEI, and everything that comes with it is an attack on the Western canon and an attack on the Western lifestyle, and at its heart, an attack on the very existence of that particular ideology, Judeo-Christian, not ideology, but Judeo-Christian based way of seeing the world that's given us so much. That's what they should be reported on. Because the rest of it doesn't deserve our attention. EDI and DEI is a rotten cancer on our society, and the sooner it goes, the better. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.